Hello, my name is Cameron Cruz, and I am going to give a presentation on antibiotic resistance. Now, during this presentation, I hope to give you general information on bacteria, antibiotics, and antibiotic resistant diseases. I will also try to go more into depth on why this current issue is so important to our society and what professionals have done to improve on this issue. First, the general information. Now, what is bacteria? Well, if you don't know, bacteria are single-celled living microbes that are found everywhere on this planet. There are different types of bacteria, and some are harmless and some are dangerous, which is also called pathogenic. These pathogenic bacteria can cause illness in us and other organisms. Now, to the left is a picture of how bacteria reproduce. This process is called binary fission. As you can see in the photo, at the top right of the photo is a single parent cell. From here, the single parent cell divides into two identical daughter cells by the process of asexual reproduction. This quick division of cells gives bacteria its strong, powerful, and at times its unbeatable characteristic. Lastly, we try to fight off these pathogenic bacteria by using specific drugs called antibiotics. Now, to get to the real issue, antibiotic resistance. This term is generally defined as when bacteria have the ability to defeat the medicine that is designed to destroy them. And it is not that our body becomes resistant to the antibiotic, but the bacteria infecting our body have become resistant to the antibiotic, just to clear things up. Moving on, antibiotic resistance causes many negative effects to infected individuals, as you may guess. These include extended hospital stays, more follow-ups and doctor's visits, and very, very expensive treatments. Now, how does bacteria become antibiotic resistant in the first place? A common answer that professionals give us is too much antibiotics. Now, how is this even an answer? Well, when bacteria adapt to the given antibiotic, they are able to 1. Stop the medicine from doing its job, 2. Force out the antibiotic completely, or 3. Change the antibiotic shape and structure so it can no longer attach itself to the bacteria. Now, the attached graph to the left shows just how much bacteria is becoming resistant to antibiotics as the years go on. For example, in each line represents a different bacteria. And you can easily see a clear positive increase within the past 12 years. As we can see, antibiotic resistance is spreading and it lies as a major issue for our society. This slide just shows the top major antibiotic resistant threats in very close form. And as we can see, bacteria come in many different sizes and structures. None of these bacteria look alike at all. This characteristic makes it difficult for professionals to be able to find the perfect antibiotic to do the job 100% of the time. Now, the importance of this issue. This issue is very important to society today because it affects every single person in the world, whether you're infected with it or just a healthy human. In the US today, at least 2 million people every year get an antibiotic-resistant infection or illness. This leads to almost 23,000 deaths every year. These infections are very contagious and can pass on easily, especially by modern travel, which many people do today, transportation of goods, um, and perhaps this is how these individuals caught the disease in the first place. Additionally, referring back to the graph on the second slide that shows the spread of antibiotic resistant diseases, it is very clear that antibiotics are losing their power, therefore wasting professionals and our own money and time. If antibiotics are not working 100% of the time, or at least close to that, um, then researchers need to find something that will, and they need to do it quickly. Before bacteria become too powerful for our bodies to handle, the researchers really need to figure something out quickly. Lastly, this topic is important because we use antibiotics to disinfect before other medical procedures and advances. I represent these advances in the pictures here. For example, we use it in chemotherapy for cancer patients, organ transplants, and joint replacements, just to name a few. Specifically, I would like to point out and discuss the picture on the bottom right. This image seemed very important to me because it shows how important organ donors and organ transplants in general are. This also means that antibiotics are important as well because we need them to make the procedure successful. I also just thought it was very amazing to see that only one organ donor, just one person, can save the lives of 8 others. As you can see, these medical procedures are very important, and we need to find a way to keep these medical procedures running successfully. Moving on to the improvements that professionals have made during this current issue. Now, this issue has been happening since probably before the 2000s, but Congress has stepped in, and since 2016, the U.S. Congress has done a great job in this fight. They provide $160 to $168 million a year, and they provide this to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC. And the CDC puts this towards an organization called the AR Solutions Initiative. Now, this organization deals with antibiotic resistance by detecting, responding, and preventing these specific infections across communities. In addition to the CDC and the Congress, the Food and Drug Administration, also known as the FDA, created the AR Isolate Bank. This bank saves money to strengthen their diagnostic and drug development. This is awesome to see that these two organizations have taken it upon themselves to fight this battle. Now, for the most part, to summarize, our government, the CDC, and the FDA have improved on this issue simply by funding for a stronger program. Moving on to healthcare providers, they have also done a great job in handling this issue. It is important to note that these professionals have taken precautions over this issue, also because it is possible to get infections when receiving healthcare from them. These infections are called healthcare-associated infections, also known as HAIs, and are most commonly caused by antibiotic-resistant pathogens. Health providers have done a better job at following infection prevention and control guidelines, as well as health and safety precautions. Lastly, these professionals have done a great job at controlling their prescribing of antibiotics to their patients. And as I discussed earlier, too much antibiotics is the reason behind why our bacteria become antibiotic resistant. And to summarize everything I just talked about, although some improvements have been made on treatment and preventative measures, the battle between bacteria and antibiotics continues to be a problem for all organisms. However, the more people that get involved in trying to solve this issue, the more likely society will discover another method to stop these powerful bacteria cells. Thank you for listening.